Alright everyone, welcome back to another video, and in this evening's video, this is going to be a little bit of a different video. So tonight what I want to do is talk to everyone about how I feel about eSIMs or digital SIMs or embedded SIM cards versus physical SIM cards, and the benefits and drawbacks of both, and which one I feel is better based on my experience. And this is coming from the experience of using it on an iOS device. This is my iPhone 15 Plus. And this is also coming from using it on an Android device. This is my Google Pixel 6a. Alright. Now, I have been using a physical SIM card for a long time, alright? But when I got my iPhone 15 Plus, the newer iPhones are eSIM only, or digital SIM only, or embedded SIM card only, right? So that was one of the issues that I ran into when I was transferring or activating my new iPhone, transferring and activating my number from my iPhone 11 to my iPhone 15 Plus. I ran into a little bit of an issue there, and I had to get in touch with customer service via Straight Talk. That's my main carrier, Straight Talk Verizon. I had to contact customer service multiple times to get everything ironed out, and I did eventually get everything working, and the service was working good for about 2 months. And then I had an issue. I did not know what the issue was. My service stopped working, and then I had to contact customer service again and get everything up and running. Alright, this is strictly just on my iPhone. And at that point, I figured, okay, I may need to share my opinions on this, because although the customer service was really good, that was still a very confusing process, okay? And I thought to myself, maybe my experience and my opinion can help someone, alright? And y'all feel free to let me know how your experiences have been if you have an eSIM device or an eSIM iOS device, right? Now, before I wanted to make this video, I thought to myself, okay, I experienced the eSIM or embedded SIM from an iOS user perspective, but I also wanted to experience this from an Android user perspective. Now, my main SIM is my Straight Talk Verizon SIM. That's a subcarrier that runs on Verizon's network. My tester SIM, which I use when I test different devices, is a free-up AT&T SIM. That's a subcarrier running on AT&T's network. I've had this SIM card for like 5 years. I was like, okay, I want to test the eSIM experience on Android. So I was like, okay, let me look up and verify that my carrier supports eSIM. I was like, okay, looked it up, checked it out, it did. So I'm like, okay, let me reach out to customer service, because you can call them via the phone number or you can reach out to them via email. And I asked them about doing the eSIM transfer process and all that stuff. Got everything situated via email correspondence, got everything swapped over, got everything activated. It was actually a very, very straightforward process on Android. A lot more straightforward than it was on iOS, at least in my experience, right? So got it all set up, and the first issue that I ran into, and I realized that this issue is carrier dependent, is some eSIMs, you have to request a new barcode, because that's how you're setting it up, via a digital barcode, which downloads the profile onto your device, and that also configures all the data and things to work. some carriers require that every time you transfer your eSIM to a new device, you have to request a brand new barcode. All right? Every time. And I asked my carrier about that information via FreeUp Mobile, and they indeed require you to get a new barcode every time. What is happening when you get this barcode? What is happening is when you get that new barcode and you activate it, it's activating your number on a new eSIM. And it's deactivating your number on the old eSIM. Right? So every time you request a device transfer and you need to get a new barcode, it's deactivating one digital SIM card or eSIM and activating a new SIM card or eSIM. And you have to do this every time. All right? And this process of them sending you the barcode can take anywhere up to 24 hours. All right? And then at that point, once you scan the barcode, it's very much a straightforward process. Right? Now, that is one thing that I do not like. I am a tech reviewer. I switch devices often. And that does add a lot of unnecessary steps to switching devices, right? And this happened on my iPhone. Sometimes during the activation process, your eSIM can get lost in the shuffle. Because in particular on my iPhone, it took about 5 hours to get the first initial eSIM on the iPhone to activate, right? And then it was working fine. It should not take that long. And then even after that, I have auto pay and things set up on both my accounts. I do not know what happened, right? And I had just paid my bill and my service got cut off. And so I had to call customer service again. Thankfully, I had another number that I could call customer service on and get everything sorted out. And then I had to make another payment so they could re-establish the service. Yeah, so I'm not entirely sure what happened to the eSIM on my iPhone, but there was, you can basically say, a 5 hour and 40-minute window when I did not have service. And this, especially my iPhone, is my main personal number, right? This is the number that anybody can call me on, and if I recognize the number, I always pick up the phone or call you back. That's the point of having a main personal line. This is the number where everybody can reach you, all right? It's not as important on my tester line because I may or may not be testing a device. So if I lose service here, it's not as important. But that's the one thing I don't like about the eSIMs is the fact that you do have to, in some instances, get a new barcode, and that will mean deactivating and reactivating a new eSIM number. Okay? And that's for some instances. Now, there are other instances where, depending on your carrier, you can swap eSIMs inside of the carrier's application, right? And that's a lot more straightforward because the application helps you generate the barcode and you can get it transferred over within about 2 to 5 minutes. Again, they do say in certain applications it can take up to 24 hours to transfer over, so that makes it a little bit easier. And if you want to use eSIMs mainly, I do recommend you go with carriers that give you that capability to transfer the eSIMs inside of the carrier applications. Primarily, the ones that I found that do this are T-Mobile. Okay, T-Mobile directly, not their subcarrier. Now, the only subcarrier that I found that runs on T-Mobile's network that lets you do this is Tello. Okay, so Tello's application will let you set up and transfer eSIMs from device to device, and T-Mobile directly will let you set up and transfer eSIMs from device to device. Okay, Other than that, AT&T directly. You can set up and transfer eSIMs from device to device if you're on AT&T directly. No other sub AT&T carriers give you that capability. Okay? And then Verizon lets you do that. So if you're on Verizon directly, you can transfer eSIM from device to device using the Verizon application. And then also, and this was very interesting, Webull by Verizon also has the capability to let you transfer and swap eSIMs from device to device. These were the only carriers and subcarriers that I found let you transfer eSIMs from device to device using the application, which, in my opinion, if you're going to use eSIM only, it needs to have that application support. All right? Having good customer service is important, but if we're being honest, calling customer service should honestly be a last resort. Kind of like when you go to the bank nowadays, 9 times out of 10, we're just running to the ATM. We don't really go inside of the bank itself unless there's an important thing we need to take care of. And essentially, where it comes to phone service, in my opinion, it needs to be the same way. Especially if you're going to be using something like eSIMs, you need to have that application support. This way, your customers with the technical know-how do not need to spend hours on a call with customer support for something that they can easily navigate themselves through the application. All right. So I do feel as though as more carriers support eSIM, they all need to have the ability to let you transfer your eSIMs through their companion applications. Okay? Other than that, let's talk about now why I feel as though physical SIM cards are better, right? And prime example, I'm actually in the process of transferring my Pixel device back to a physical SIM. I'm just waiting on the new SIM to come in the mail. I have to activate it and then go through the process of deactivating my eSIM and dropping back in the physical SIM. But let's talk about why physical SIM cards may be better, right? And a lot of tech people know this, but physical SIM cards give you carrier freedom, okay? And what do I mean by that? If you have an unlocked device, you can go out and get service from any carrier, and as long as that carrier supports your device, you're good to go. So if at any point you don't like the service that you're on, let me run down to Walmart, let me pick up a quick SIM kit, let me activate service, it's supported on my device, let me drop it in. You could rock out with that for a while. You could set up a prepaid thing, and then when you don't want to use it, you just don't pay it. It deactivates. Okay, cool. We'll go check out another carrier. Let me go grab another SIM kit. It's supported on my device. Drop it in, activate it, so on and so forth. So you have carrier freedom when you use physical SIM cards, right? Especially if you have a physical SIM card and an unlocked device that you know supports the carriers in your area. That's where it makes sense to have a physical SIM card, in my opinion. Also, where it makes sense to have a physical SIM card, in my opinion, is if you travel internationally. And that's why a lot of international devices, although it's becoming more widespread, they're implementing eSIMs. A lot of international devices rely exclusively on physical SIM cards. All right? So just having a physical SIM card gives you that carrier freedom. You're only locked in when you really want to be locked in. Okay? And at any point, you can switch carriers and get a new SIM card, get a new number, so on and so forth. Now, if you want to port your number from carrier to carrier, there's a few more steps to that. But that's the beauty of having a physical SIM card. It's just plug and play. Okay? there's no potential hours online with customer service. There's no potential hours waiting for your service to activate. Your device is supported. The service is activated. You drop the SIM card in. You're good to go. Especially nowadays, for modern devices, you drop the SIM cards in. The device detects it automatically. In some instances, it will restart itself to configure the APNs, and then everything will work. Or you may have to toggle off and on airplane mode, and then everything will work. In the worst case scenario with a physical SIM card, you just have to go out and get the APN settings for that particular carrier and physically put them into your device in the APN settings, save it, select it, and then you'll have your service. If that doesn't work, and I've done this on multiple videos, you select it, you wait for about 2 minutes, and then you restart your device, and then you'll have service. So much easier than having an eSIM, which in certain cases, as I've said, with eSIMs, it could take anywhere from 5 minutes to 24 hours. With a physical SIM, it could take anywhere from 30 minutes to 5 minutes. So much easier. So, in my opinion, I do see where eSIMs have their place, but I also feel as though a physical SIM card is better. Now, where do eSIMs have their place? Let me give my opinion on this. If you're the type of person that is really good at taking care of your device and you only need one device, okay, then it makes sense to have an eSIM, because then you know your number is locked into that device and you're going to take care of your device and you know you always have that number, right? And then you know if anything happens, everything's just going to work. That's where it makes sense to have an eSIM. So for a lot of iPhone people who are just cool with their iPhone, right, eSIMs make sense. Okay, you activate your phone, you activate your eSIM, and everything works. Cool. You might have that number for 10, 12, 13 years, good to go. Boom, cool. That's where eSIMs make sense. Where they don't make sense, if you're in a industry or a workplace where you have to transfer phones often, like what I do as a tech reviewer, I transfer or swap phones often, or maybe if you're in the security industry, maybe you're in cybersecurity, where every so often you have to get a new phone from your workplace. All right, this is where having a physical SIM would make more sense. Yeah. Now, with that being said, where does it make even more sense to have a physical SIM card over an eSIM? And this is probably the biggest thing. Let's say you're using your device, and I've seen this happen to multiple people. It hasn't happened to me. Let me knock on wood there. But let's say you're using your device, something happens, you drop it, you break it, and it's unusable. Okay. Now you have to figure out a way to contact your carrier, do a warranty replacement or a warranty repair, and then you have to wait for your device to get fixed, or you have to wait for your new device to come. Well, if you have an eSIM, this could be a potential issue. Because let's say you drop the device is broken to the point to where it's unusable, like you can't interact with the device's display at all, so you can't transfer over your eSIMs, even with your carrier help or carrier application. You can't transfer over eSIMs because the device is unusable. This is where having a physical SIM makes a lot of sense. Because guess what? I dropped my device is broken, it needs to go in for a repair. Oh, cool. Pop the SIM card out, pop it into another device I may have, or pop it into another device I might get from my carrier, and cool. I have service while I wait for my phone to get repaired or get replaced. That's where, again, I feel a physical SIM card is a little bit better, or better in that instance, over an eSIM. All right? So, that to me is just going over why I feel a eSIM is good, and some of the people that it might be good for, and why I feel a physical SIM card might be better, and why I feel certain people might need to have a physical SIM card. You guys and gals, let me know your opinions down below in the comments. Do you use an eSIM, or do you still use a physical SIM card? Do you have an unlocked device so you can jump from carrier to carrier if you would like? Or are you locked into one specific carrier? Let's get into a nice, respectful conversation down below in the comments. Okay? Keep your comments respectful, please. I hope everyone's having a great evening. I hope you guys and gals are staying safe out there. And I will catch everyone in the next video. Have a good one, everybody. We're out of here. Peace. Oh, tonight's video was recorded using a combination of the front and the rear-facing cameras on the Samsung Galaxy S21 Plus. Today's video, or this evening's video, is being recorded in 1080p at 30 FPS with no external microphone hooked up. So please let me know what you guys and gals think of the overall video quality and the overall audio quality, as well as the lighting. I'm not using my professional studio lights here tonight, but I am using my smart lights. So let me know what you guys and gals think. And as always, keep your comments respectful, please. And remember, I do my best to answer all questions posted in the comments about that particular video in a timely fashion. Okay? So any questions you guys and gals may have about any particular video on the channel, or any particular product you see in the videos on the channel, if you pose a question about that particular product for that particular video in the comments, I do my best to answer those questions in a timely fashion. Okay? And please, guys and gals, remember, we're all grown-ups. Please keep your comments and questions respectful, please. Alright? Hope everyone's having a great evening. Hope you guys and gals are staying safe out there. And I will catch everyone in the next video. Have a good one, everybody. We're out of here. Peace. Oh yeah. My physical SIM card should be here in a couple days. I'm going to be very happy to drop back in a physical SIM into my Pixel 6a. Because I got some more devices I want to take a look at. And eSIMs, at least for my potential situation or my current situation, are very, very cumbersome. And I think that mostly depends on the carriers that I use. So that's one thing you want to keep in mind. If you do rock with the eSIMs, y'all, please use a carrier that supports that capability that I talked about in the video, that lets you swap or activate the eSIMs from device to device using the companion application. Anyway, I don't want to ramble on. Have a good one, everybody. We're out of here. I'll catch you guys and gals in the next one. Peace.